subscribe to the channel. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah! Well, here we go. The most anticipated video of 2023. How are we, lads? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I am Nick from Australia. Welcome to the Nick from Australia NRL 2023 ladder predictions. This is going to be interesting. There are going to be a lot of disagreements on this, I'm telling you. A lot of people are going to be upset. A lot of people are going to be disappointed where I have their team placed. But let me just say this. If I put your team outside the top 8, if I put your team in the bottom 4, don't get too upset. It's a very open season. I reckon I'd say probably 13th up to about 6th, there's a case for any of them teams to play finals. So if I put your team in a shit spot, don't get upset. It's nothing personal. It's just my opinion. There is 50 days until the 2023 NRL season gets underway. 50 days to go. So I think now is the appropriate time to do a ladder prediction. The ladder prediction is all I'm going to reveal tonight. My grand final can wait till the season preview, along with Dally M awards and all that sort of thing. So 2023 predictions won't be out for a little while yet, but tonight it's going to be the 2023 ladder predictions. Hello to the live chat. We've got a big crowd here. We've got about 30 people in the live chat. Everyone's keen to see where I've got their team placed. I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to doing this. Hello to the chat. Hope everyone's doing well. Without further ado, let's get into it. Let's just start it off. Nick from Australia's 2023 ladder predictions. And we're going to start from the bottom and we're going to make our way to the top. 17th, the team that I am selecting for the wooden spoon in 2023. I think if you know me personally, you know who I'm predicting here. 17th, it will be the Gold Coast Titans. They're going to come last. They're going to have a horrible season. They're going to have a terrible year. I can't see the Gold Coast Titans having a good year. They have a horrible squad. Their team doesn't inspire me whatsoever. Their back line is horrible. Their halves, they have so many young options. I've got Brimson. He's not a 5'8". Stop it. He's not a 5'8". Toby Sexton is terrible. Kieran Foran, the big off-season recruit. We all know Kieran Foran is one injury away from retirement. Tanner Boyd is probably the Titans' perfect 14. The Gold Coast have a horrible team. Their forward pack is somewhat decent, but everything else is very ordinary. I can't see the Gold Coast winning more than 5 games this season. I think they're going to have a terrible season. So for me, the Gold Coast Titans, they will win the wooden spoon in 2023. They'll come 17th. The team I have second last, 16th. Bang! West Tigers. And you want to know why? Because Luke Brooks is still there. No, that's not the reason. The Tigers still don't have a good team. They bought Clemmer. They bought Coruscant. They bought Bateman. They have bought Charlie Staines. They've bought some decent players, but they haven't got anything. Their backline sucks. It really does. Their backline absolutely sucks. They don't have anything threatening whatsoever. I think their forward pack is the only thing going for the West Tigers. Their halves, Dewey and Brooks, nah, they're gone. They have nothing. Adam Dewey is horrible. Luke Brooks is horrible. Coruscant's getting older. Papali'i's going from a team that made the grand final to a team that came last. So his form's going to be interesting. I don't see the West Tigers doing much at all in 2023. I reckon they'll come second last. So West Tigers to come 16th. 15th, the Dragons. I hate putting the Dragons this low, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I like the Dragons a lot. I want them to do well. My dad goes for them. I have a soft spot for the Dragons. But let's be real. Let's be honest. This team got worse in the offseason. They've got some really good young kids in that system. Guys like Lomax and Moses Sully are going to get better. Ben Hunt's still there. They've got Jack Bird, Jaden Sewer. They've got Jack DeBellin. They've got some decent players in their squad. They should avoid the wooden spoon, but bugger me. Picking up Jacob Little is horrible. Picking up Zane Musgrove is horrible. They don't even know who their fullback is. They don't even know who their 5'8" is. Jacob Little is the worst hooker in the game. Ben Hunt's going to have to replicate what he did last season. It's just a big ask. The Dragons, I want them to do well. I really want to put them in my top 8, but I just can't. I just can't do it. I think they're going to be in the bottom 4. So, unfortunately for the Red V, it's going to be a long year for them. I reckon they'll come 15th. A long year ahead for the Dragons, but I really hope they do well. 14th, the last team in the bottom 4. The new kids on the block, the Dolphins. The Dolphins, the Redcliffe Dolphins, the guys that have the horrible Coca-Cola jerseys, whatever you want to call them. They are such an old roster. I mean, the microphone's about to fall down here. Jesus Christ. They've got a very old roster. Picking up guys like Kafusi, Bromwich, the other Bromwich brother. They don't have a marquee signing. Sean O'Sullivan will be good for them, along with that young Katoa kid. The Hammer, he's gone there as well. Mark Nichols. They've bought so many old dudes. They don't have any young kids coming through. They might have a couple of them that we may not know of right now. I think Edric Lee's a good signing for them. I like to pick up with Oliver Gildart as well. But Wayne Bennett's got a massive task ahead. It's going to be tough to see the Dolphins do anything. I think the Dolphins' goal this year is to probably avoid the bottom 4. So for me, the Dolphins, they'll come 14th or somewhere in the bottom 4. So Dolphins to have a shocker, and I don't think anybody expects them to do much. 13th, Newcastle. The Newcastle Knights, one of the most fascinating teams in the offseason. Caleb Ponga's going to 5'8". They picked up Jackson Hastings. They're trying very hard to get Lachlan Miller for fullback. I like the Newcastle Knights forward pack. I really do. I think the Saifidi brothers, Tyson Frizzell, Brody Jones, Adam Elliott, I think it's a really nice pack. I really do like Newcastle's forward pack. Leo Thompson will get better as well. It's really hard to believe in the Newcastle experiment when you've got Ponga going to 5'8", and that is such an uncertain thing. If Ponga doesn't work at 5'8", what's Newcastle's alternative plan? Does Tyson Gamble go to 5'8"? I don't see what the point of buying Tyson Gamble is if they're not going to play him at 5'8". They do get Will Price next year from Huddersfield, so I expect Newcastle are probably looking at that. I think Newcastle are looking at 2024. I think this year is a building year for them. Don't come in the bottom 4. Newcastle need to avoid that. I'd be surprised if they made the top 8. I really would. I think if Bradman Best can just play some footy and not get injured and stay fit, guys like Gagai with experience. Dominic Young's are only going to get better as well. Newcastle, for me, they're a bit of a weird team. They might win more home games than they would away games. So we'll see how Newcastle go, but I reckon they'll come 13th in 2023. 12th, the New Zealand Warriors. I have no idea what to expect from the New Zealand Warriors. They are the most unpredictable team in the competition. They're always a mid-table team. Last year, I had them for the wooden spoon. I think they've done well in the offseason. I think they've recruited okay. I think Mitch Barnett's a good pickup. Marani Corey, Dylan Walker. I do like some of the offseason recruits. Luke Metcalf as well has gone there. Nickel Clockstad. So the New Zealand Warriors have bought a lot in the offseason. It's also Tamari Martin as well. Can't forget about him. It's just hard to really predict the Warriors. They seem to go well in New Zealand, but their record away from New Zealand is quite ordinary. The thing with the Warriors is, can they go to Sydney and win games against the Roosters, the Rabbitohs? Can they win games away from New Zealand? It's hard to really say. Sean Johnson, this might be his last year at the Warriors, depending on how he goes. It's hard to predict the Warriors. Some will put them last, but I reckon I think they'll go okay. I think they'll win a few games and they'll finish mid-table. So the Warriors, for me, they'll finish 12th in season 2023. 11th. Now, this is where we're going to get controversial. From 11th to 6th, you can make a case for your team in the top 8. 11th, I could put these guys high, but I don't trust the injury toll. Manly. The Manly Seagulls. I've got them 11th. I don't trust them. I don't trust the Josh Schuster experiment at 5'8". I don't trust Turbo's hamstrings. And I sure as hell don't trust Anthony Seibold. Anthony Seibold, as an NRL coach, has proven to be a failure. I don't trust the Seagulls. I believe if Manly stay fit, they could be in the top 8. It would not shock me at all. If Manly finish 6th or 5th this season, would not be surprised at all. I just feel with the Josh Schuster experiment at 5'8", it's such an unknown. You've got Turbo's hamstrings, just an unknown. Anthony Seibold, just an unknown as well. So you've got I've got 3 reasons there. Three question marks for Manly. Now, if Manly can avoid injury, I think they are a genuine top 8 team and would not be surprised, but you can't trust them. You can't trust them. I think 11th is a fair spot for them for now. But you watch what happens here. I've predicted them to come 11th. Watch them finish 5th or 6th now, but who knows? Manly are so hard to predict. I've got them 11th, so we'll see how they go in 2023. Now, number 10, this one is going to piss off a lot of people. A lot of people in the live chat are probably going to start abusing me when I put this team 10th. They're a big fan base. They're a big club. They are a one-team town. 10th, the Broncos. A lot of people are going to be angry about this. I've got the Broncos in 10th. I don't reckon they make the 8. I really don't. I don't believe in them. I really don't. I can't see the Broncos making the top 8. Now, the problem with the Broncos is when they have to play games at the Gabba, that literally takes home ground advantage out of it. The Broncos are going to really struggle away from Suncorp Stadium. How are the Broncos going to go at the Sunshine Coast? How are they going to go? I'm just reading the chat. My brother just says, you're fucked. Shut up, Josh. Reece Walsh, is that experiment going to work? He's already been involved in an off-field incident with David Fafita. The hooker position is the great unknown. Is Ezra Mann ready? The thing with the Broncos is when they play games at the Gabba, when they play games at the Sunshine Coast, are they going to be able to win? Different venue compared to Suncorp Stadium. Yeah, I know it's in Brisbane, but the problem is, are they going to be able to play on that surface? Playing at different stadiums is not going to be easy for teams. It really isn't. Have a look at the Sharks. The Sharks went back to Shark Park. Yes, they did win games there, but when they had to play at Allianz, they struggled. They had a home final against Southsea, and they struggled to play at that ground. The Broncos, for me, it is very, very important that the Broncos will win games early on. If the Broncos struggle at Suncorp early on in the season, it's going to be a long year for them. So I don't know if they've gotten over last year. They really mucked it up last year. I don't know, man. Kevin Walters is still unproven to get this team to the top 8. I just don't know if they have the mental state. I don't know if they're mentally strong enough, and you had the whole Cobbo incident. I don't know. Josh, you're making me laugh. Stop it. The Broncos, they won't make the 8. You heard it here first. The Brisbane Broncos will not make the finals. But we'll see. We'll see how they go. 9th. Now, this one's tough. This team made the finals last year. I reckon the Canberra Raiders are going to be the team in 9th. Now, the Raiders, they're a tough one. They're a really tough one to predict. The Canberra Raiders, for me, in season 2023, I do like their team. I really do think they can make it, and I would not be surprised if they make it. But the problem with Canberra is they're so inconsistent. They're just like the fucking Broncos and the Warriors. They're so inconsistent. You can't predict what they're going to do. The thing with Canberra is every time they make the top 8, they never back it up the next year. They always do this shit. In 2020, after 2020, they made it all the way to a prelim final. 2021, they flopped miserably. And then in 2022, they made it only because the Broncos fell off a cliff. Josh, fuck off. The Canberra Raiders, for me, there's something missing. There's something missing from Canberra. I don't know if it's the Jamal Fogarty thing. I'm not a big fan of Jamal Fogarty. I'm not on him. I just think the other teams around the Canberra Raiders got better in the offseason, and I think the other teams have improved. So we'll see. But Canberra, there's such a mystery. You don't know what they're going to do. So I've got them in 9th for 2023. Wouldn't be surprised if they made the 8, but Canberra will finish 9th. Now, let's go to the top 8. The top 8. The team I have in 8th is controversial as a lot of people are going to go, what the F when I say this. Now, get ready. 8th. Give it to me. Bang! The Melbourne Storm. They're going backwards. They really are going backwards. They're going to come 8th. They still make the finals, but only just. I am not keen on the Storm at all. I think they're going to struggle miserably this season. I think they're going to just get in the top 8. They're going to just get there. I think their 4-pack is as vulnerable as it's ever been. They've lost Jesse Bromwich. They've lost Felice Kafusi. They've lost Kenny Bromwich. They've lost Brendan Smith. They've lost David Nofaluma. Pappenhausen, his injury toll is a massive, massive concern. Harry Grant has lost a bit of help now. With Smith's gone, Wishart gone. I am so fucking worried about the Melbourne Storm. I think they just get in the 8. I was this close to putting Melbourne out of my top 8. Melbourne Storm are no longer the juggernaut team. You don't need to worry about Melbourne. Melbourne are not a threat this season. I would honestly be surprised if Melbourne made the top 4. I don't believe Melbourne are a threat whatsoever. They are no threat at all. I reckon they just make the top 8, but they're going out first week or 2. They might win a final, but they're going out week 1 or week 2. They don't worry me, Melbourne. Munster and Hughes are their only hope. If Munster goes down for an extended period, they're fucked. They're fucked. So we'll see how Melbourne go this year. I'm writing them off. I reckon they'll make the 8, but we'll see. Melbourne will finish 8th, but I'm not convinced that they're going to be a threat whatsoever. 7th, the big improvers in 2023. I've got the Bulldogs. The Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. I reckon they are going to make the finals for the first time since 2016. I really like what they've done, the Bulldogs. I'm so keen for them. I think they've got a really good squad together. I think Pangai Jr. is going to have a big season. I think the coach, Cameron Ciraldo, is going to come in. He's going to make a massive impact at the Dogs. I really do think the Bulldogs have got a good team. I think Jacob Kiraz is going to get better as a young kid. I think Matt Burton's going to have a big season. I think Kyle Flanagan will get better. Reid Marnie, kick out, big off-season recruits. I like the Bulldogs this season. I really do believe in them. I think they make the 8. If I don't make the 8, I'll be really disappointed in them. They get back Braden Burns from injury. Addo Carr, Avarillo. They've got so many good players there. I know the Bulldogs are a little bit young, but if there's one year they're going to make it, it's now. So for me, Cameron Ciraldo is going to come in and make a huge impact. The Bulldogs will play finals football in 2023. Now, 6, last year's grand finalist, the Parramatta Eels. I have been writing them off all off season. I was shitting on them back in November and December, but I've changed my mind. I like the Eels. I think they get there. I think they've got enough experience to get there. They just made a grand final. If a team like Parramatta makes the grand final but doesn't back it up the next season, that's so disappointing. It really is. I believe Parramatta are in for another top 8 season. If Josh Hodgson can stay fit, he will be a top 3 hooker in the game. If Jack Murchie fits into that Eels system, I think he will have a breakout year. I like Dylan Brown re-signing, Gufferson another year there. I mean, when you've got a spine of Gufferson, Brown, Moses, and Hodgson, I think it's a quality spine. The 4-pack is also very good. You know, you've got Campbell Gillard, Paulo, Lane, Murchie, Madison, another year of Makatoa. I like Parramatta. I do like that back line as well. You know, you've got Seaver, you've got Simonson, you've got Wagga Blake, you've got Penasini. You've got some depth in Hayes Dunster and Sean Russell. I don't know. A lot of people are writing Parramatta off to go backwards, but I think Parramatta will still make the top 8 and they should finish in the top 6 somewhere. So I've got them 6. We'll see how they go. We will see how the Eels go in 2023. 5th, the Bunnies, the South Sydney Rabbitohs. I've got them in 5th. I do like the Rabbitohs a lot this season. I think with Latrell, Cody, Ilias, and Cook, they have enough to be a good team. I do like Rabbitohs this season. I think they will learn a lot from last year. I think the combination between Cody Walker and Lachlan Ilias is only going to improve. Another full season together. I do rate the Rabbitohs a lot. I think they're going to have a big season. My only concern with the Rabbitohs is Jai Arrow going to play the full year in the second row? They haven't really replaced Tom Burgess, which is also a bit of a concern for me as well. I think Totola's going to have a big season. I think Kalamatangi is going to have another big year. Hame Sele will need to improve as well. I do rate Souths. I think with Latrell, Johnson, Campbell Graham, Walker, all these sort of players, I really do think the Rabbitohs will finish 5th. I don't know about top 4, but I do rate South Sydney a lot this year, and I think the coach, Jason Demetrio, is going to get a lot out of them. They finished 7th last year, South, so I reckon they go up to 5th this season. So we'll see how they go. Now, let's get to the top 4. Number 4, Cronulla. The Sharkies. Cronulla Sutherland. They finished 2nd last year. I reckon I'll finish 4th this season. I do like Cronulla a lot. I think at home, they are very hard to beat, especially at Shark Park. I do really rate the Sharks. Now, can the Sharks win the comp from 4th? Possibly. Are they a threat? Maybe. I'm not sure if they're a threat. I mean, last year they finished 2nd and they went out in straight sets, so it's hard to really see. But you have a look at their recruitment. They haven't really bought anybody in the offseason. They did lose Tolman and Fafita, which isn't really a big loss because they're both old guys. And I think some of the young players are getting better. I think Nico Hines is going to back up what he did in 2022. I think he'll have another big season. I think they're getting better. The back line, they did lose Cattell, which did hurt them a lot. Will Kennedy wasn't fit for the finals, but he played well. They've got Finucane, Toby Rudolph, Hamlin Ueli, Britton Nakora, McInnes. I like the Sharks a lot. I think Teague Wilton will get better this season as well. I think Oregon Kafusi is probably a good pickup for them off the bench. I think he'll be very good for the Sharks. So we'll see how Cronulla go this year, but I'm putting them in 4th. I really rate Cronulla this year. I think they'll go very well. 3rd, this one might be a massive surprise to everybody. They are the back-to-back champs. 3rd, Penrith. Penrith. I reckon they'll come 3rd. I reckon they're a bit weaker this season. I don't reckon they've done much in the off-season with recruitment. I do think Luke Garner's a good one. And I do think a kid from Brisbane, what's his name, they bought in the off-season, that young kid. I'm trying to remember his fucking name. You guys will let me know in the live chat. That young Penrith, that young Penrith back row, Brisbane back row. I can't remember his fucking name. Look, I think Penrith, I think they're a bit more vulnerable this season. I really do. Zach Hoskins, the kid. That's the one I'm thinking of. Hosking. Now, the thing with Penrith is, I think at home, they'll be almost unbeatable. Besides the Roosters, and maybe the Sharks and Rabbitohs, there's not many teams that are going to be able to defeat Penrith at home. I think if you're going to beat Penrith this year, you're going to have to do it away from Penrith. You're going to have to do it, in Queensland or in fucking Melbourne or in Sydney somewhere away from Penrith Stadium. You're going to have to win games away from Penrith to beat them. The thing with Penrith is as well is Luai, Cleary. The Panthers, they can't stay at the top forever. There has to be a small drop-off somewhere. Now, I think that they have gotten a little bit weak. I really do. I think losing Api Coruscant is massive. Mitch Kenny, again, very nice, a very nice hooker, but not Api Coruscant's level. I think they're very vulnerable in that position. I think losing Kickout, replacing him with Luke Garner, it is a downgrade. So look, we'll see it. We'll see what happens. But Penrith, they'll definitely be top 4. So look, I reckon they'll end up in third, the Panthers. So they'll be very hard to beat this season. But there is a small drop off in them somewhere. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. Second, here we go. Everyone's going to kill me for this, but I don't care. Second, it will be the Cowboys. The Cowboys are in for a big year, and I'll explain to you why. So you go back to 2022, right? The Cowboys, they had an incredible season. They probably overachieved a little bit. They probably did better than what everyone thought. The thing with the Cowboys is they didn't get any worse in the offseason. They only got fucking better. They lost a little bit. They lost Tom Gilbert. They replaced him with Jack Dejewski. Dejewski's a very good young back rower. He will do well under Todd Payton. We lose the hammer. We replace him with a young junior like Tom Chester. Granville's also there for experience as well. The Cowboys did not get any worse. They only got better. And you got to think as well. They got all the way to a prelim final last year. They lost because of a fucking forward pass. The Cowboys will be grinding. They will be starving. The Cowboys in Townsville are extremely fucking hard to beat. I'm telling you, there are not going to be many teams that are going to beat the Cowboys in Townsville this year. They are going to be very hard to beat up there. I think the improvement with the young kids are going to get better. I think Dearden gets better. Tulungi gets better. I think Drinkwater improves as well. Valentine Holmes. Ruben Cotto is a freak. Taumalolo. You got guys like Nanai. Lukey comes back from his ACL. Imagine if he was there last year in the final series. That could have been a game changer. Griffin Neem gets better as well. I can't see the Cowboys missing the top 4. They're going to be very hard to beat in Townsville. They have a favorable draw once again. The Cowboys games in Sydney aren't that bad. I think we only play a couple of really big teams in Sydney. I don't think we have that many games against big teams in Sydney. I think we played the Panthers down there late. We got Parramatta and the West Tigers around Origin period. I think we play Souths down there as well. We got the Dogs early on down there. We don't play the Roosters in Sydney at all, so that's a massive win. So the Cowboys' record in New South Wales last year, I think it was 3-3, so it wasn't bad. So Cowboys in Sydney will be very hard to beat, and Townsville, will be very hard to beat. I think they get better. I don't see them getting any worse. Some will say I'm biased, but we'll see what happens once we get to the end of 2023. And number 1, the minor premiers, it will be the Sydney Roosters. They are going to be so hard to beat. I think the Roosters have the best team on paper. If you put both teams, like if you put the Roosters team on paper, they are going to be so hard to beat. I mean, they've got the best team. The Roosters on paper are the best team in the comp. You've got Teddy, Tupou, Suoliti, Manu, guys like that. Fuck me. You got Keary, Walker, Hargraves, Brendan Smith, Crichton, Matt Lodge, Tupanua comes back in May. They've got the Butcher brothers. They've got Victor Radley. They've got Lindsay Collins. They've got fucking so many quality players. The Roosters have one of the best fucking teams in the competition. If they get it right, they're going to be top 4, top 2. I know last year we all praised the Roosters up highly and they did flop. But here's the thing. The difference is now they've got their home ground. They've got Allianz Stadium. They're going to be so hard to beat. Allianz Stadium, it's literally going to be a fortress for the Roosters. They've got a full season at the home venue. I know they have to go and play at the ST.GEORGE a couple of times and all that because of the FIFA World Cup, the Soccer World Cup for the women. But the Roosters, very hard to beat. They've got so many superstars in their team. Teddy, Manu, Walker, so hard to beat, man. Like the Roosters will be very tough to beat in season 2023. But anyway, guys, that's my ladder prediction. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Before I go, I'll just go for my top 8 real quick. I've got the Roosters in 1st, Cowboys 2nd, Panthers 3rd, Cronulla in 4th. I've got the Rabbitohs in 5th, Parramatta in 6th, Canterbury in 7th, Melbourne in 8th. That's my top 8 for season 2023. Now, if that were to be a final series, you'd get the Roosters versus the Sharks at Allianz, Cowboys and Panthers in Townsville, Rabbitohs and the Storm at ANZ Stadium, and the Eels and the Bulldogs at CommBank. So that would be a pretty good final series if that were to happen. But ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed the 2023 NRL ladder predictions. If you did, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a subscribe, share the video around all over social media, and let me know in the comment section below what your top 8 is. I'd love to hear it. I really want to see who everyone's predicting to come where in season 2023. Anyway, guys, I'm getting out of here. 50 days to go till the season starts. Thanks for watching, guys. Like and subscribe. Have a great night, and I'll see you guys in the next one. The Cowboys 2023 Premiers.